Throughout the years, the NBA has allowed players to push the boundaries of human capability. Every now and then, we'll see a player that's truly gifted in one category, whether it be scoring, rebounding, passing, stealing, or shot blocking. As many of you know, some of these records are almost impossible to beat, but in this video, I'm going to break down how a player could theoretically break said records, starting with scoring. The elephant in the room is LeBron James. Earlier this year, he passed Kareem for the all-time scoring leader and is still playing at a very high level. Knowing this, you can't really set a definite number on the amount of points someone will need to pass him, but we can still get a pretty good estimation. The first thing we need to know is how many more years LeBron will be playing. LeBron said that he definitely wants to play with the Sun and that he'll play at least until Bronny's eligible to be in the NBA. Well, Bronny's about to start his freshman year at USC, so even if he's somehow a one and done, that means LeBron has to play at least another 2 years, so let's just go with that. Next, we need the amount of games he'll be playing per season. You see, this is where it gets tricky. LeBron will play most of the games if he's healthy, but for 4 of the last 5 seasons he's dealt with injuries. I think a fair way of estimating the games he could play is to just average the games he's played over the last 5 years on the Lakers. When we do that, we get an average of 55.6 games played per year. Let's just call it 56 games a year. The last piece of information that we need, and the hardest to guess, is the points per game. I'm a big LeBron guy, but I don't believe he'll continue to average in the high 20s for the next 2 years. It's also clear that the Lakers are trying to get more and more scorers around LeBron as he gets older, such as D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, and so on. But anyway, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say in year 21, his points per game will drop to around 25.5, then in year 22, it'll drop to around 23.5. So, if we use the 56 games we talked about at 25.5 points per game for this coming season and 23.5 points per game for the following season, LeBron's total points will come out to 41,396. So now we need to think about the possibility of actually breaking this record. There's never been a player that's been as good of a scorer as LeBron to play at the level he has for 20 years, let alone 22 years. To break this record, I believe there are 2 crucial requirements you need to satisfy. 1, be able to shoot threes and to shoot a lot of them. And 2, to not purely rely off of athleticism. The less wear and tear on your body, the better. Believe it or not, there's actually a player in the NBA right now that satisfies both of these, and he started off his career at a very high scoring pace, and his name is Luka Doncic. Luka's played 5 years in the NBA and has a career average of 27.6 points per game at an average of exactly 66 games played per year. If we continue this trend for the next 15 years, which let's be honest, that's a pretty big stretch, after year 20, he'll be sitting at only 36,424 points, almost 5,000 points less than LeBron. So to put it simply, there's no chance Luka passes LeBron in points, but just for shits and giggles, let's see what someone would need to average over a 20-year span to pass LeBron. Let's also say they are very healthy throughout their whole career and play 70 games a season. They would have to average 29.6 points per game for 20 years at 70 games a year to pass LeBron. So, the takeaway from this is that no one's ever breaking this record, unless the NBA adds something in like a 4-point line, but that's an entirely different conversation. Next, we have rebounds. This will be short because the all-time leader in rebounds is Wilt Chamberlain with 23,924. I think a lot of people believe that Wilt's stats aren't quote-unquote real, and honestly, I see where those people are coming from. It doesn't take away from what Wilt did, and everyone knows he's a great rebounder, but using the same metric as before, someone would need to average 17.1 rebounds a game for 70 games a year for 20 years to pass Wilt. I don't think much explaining needs to go into why this is an unbreakable record. Now let's go on to passing. John Stockton is the all-time assist leader with 15,806 assists. A lot of people call this the most unbreakable record, but I actually disagree for one reason. Passing is sustainable. It doesn't take really any athleticism to be a great passer, and most great passers play for a long time. Some examples of this would be John Stockton, Chris Paul, Steve Nash. All these guys were close to 10 assists a game in their late 30s. Because of this, I feel like we can use a different metric. Don't get me wrong, it would be really hard, but I still think it's possible for a player to play 22-ish years and still be a good passer all the way until the end of their career. So let's use 70 games a year, for 22 years instead of 20 years. 10.26 assists a game is what you would need to average to pass Stockton. So I definitely think it's close to impossible, but there's still some really young elite passers in the NBA right now, like Trae Young and Tyrese Halliburton. Next up, we have steals. And again, the record is held by John Stockton. 3,265. That's how many steals you need to pass him. It's just not going to happen. You have some guys in the NBA today that can get a lot of steals, but it's all about the amount of games that you play. Stockton played on average 79 games a year for a 19-year career. Also, the culture of the NBA today isn't really set on being good on defense, which definitely doesn't help the odds of this record being broken. Last but not least, blocks. This is a controversial record because Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell's blocks were never accounted for. But then at the same time, it was legal to goaltend a shot back then, so even if you counted the blocks for them, it wouldn't even be the same. But as it stands, Hakeem Olajuwon has the record at 3,830 blocks. The issue with this record is its very wear and tear on your body. To be able to block shots for 20 years at a high level would be almost alien-like. I mean, maybe someone who's freakishly tall could do it, like Wembanyama, but I just won't believe it until I see it. So that's it for this video. Let me know which record you think will be broken first in the comments, and if you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know as well. I'll see you in the next one.